Hi, everybody. I must apologize. I just tried doing a live across various different platforms a few moments ago, and some of the platforms it failed on. So I've had to redo it. So apologies if you've just seen me pop up, but you're seeing me pop up again. So I wanted to pop on today to talk about something that's been a subject um, discussed quite a lot recently between me and my clients and people I network with and various other people. And that's this constant strive for perfection, this need to be perfect in everything that we do. And it's come up a lot when I've been talking to people about productivity. How productive are they? How effective are they? And quite often they're quite negative about their own performance. Well, I'm not as productive as I could be. And that's probably true because they might be focusing in on the wrong things and not working in the right ways. But also, there's this idea of what being effective and productive is. And we get that from social media, we get it from movies, TV, whatever it might be. And we're setting the bar too high. We're looking for perfection when what we really should be looking for is being the best version of ourselves and being okay with that. So what I was thinking about was Mary Poppins. When I hear the word perfection, I always think about Mary Poppins, but she's always considered this perfect nanny, right? But even she describes herself as practically perfect, not perfect. She recognizes there is no such thing as perfection, but she is the best version of herself. And that's really what we should be striving to be, more Mary Poppins. Yeah. Stop striving for perfection because perfection is actually holding you back and impacting you and your business negatively. Because what's happening is when we strive for perfection and inevitably it doesn't happen, we get negative, right? We retreat from whatever it is that we're doing, we down tools, we become actually less effective. So, this constant need to be perfect is actually having the opposite effect in our businesses. But if we start thinking about how can I just be the best me today, whatever that looks like today, I'm just going to be the best version of me today. I'm going to try and get the most out of me today, not the perfect amount, but the most of what I can deliver and actually be okay with that. If Mary Poppins can be okay with only being practically perfect and not perfect, I'm pretty sure we can as well. So stop striving for that perfection because it is holding you back. It's stopping you releasing the amazing business owner you could actually be. It's stopping you having the enjoyment in your business because you're constantly berating yourself for not being perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect business. There's no such thing as a perfect business owner. There's definitely no such thing as the perfect, productive, effective day. There is the best day for you, whatever that looks like, the best version of you. I know when I'm in my business, I've stopped looking at what is perfect. I've stopped thinking about what would make the perfect day. And I've started thinking about what's the best version of me? How do I want to be showing up in my business? What does that look like for me? Not for anybody else, but what does that look like for me? That is so important. And also accepting that best laid plans and all that, right? How many times have we made plans for the perfect day, the perfect week, the perfect month, and it's not happened? Because life happens. Stuff gets in the way, curveballs get thrown at us. And that means we have to adapt. And if we're trying to be perfect all the time, I think we lose the ability for flexibility and being able to adapt to the situations that come our way. Because what they do is they send us into a tailspin when we're looking for perfection. When we're trying to make everything perfect and something happens that doesn't sit with that, it can cause us a lot of issues and it can put us into a tailspin. And this is when things like effectiveness and productivity all go out of the window because we can't focus anymore. We're just focusing in on what wasn't perfect. But when we learn that actually what we're striving for is just to be the best version of ourselves and have the best day that we can rather than the perfect day, When a curveball comes in, I think we have more time and energy to actually be able to deal with it, to deal with the impact, whatever it might be, and actually end up with a more positive result. So if you're striving for perfection, you're creating the opposite in your business. When you learn that there is no perfection, that the stuff that we see when businesses talk about, oh, I've had the most perfect week, it's their version, not yours, right? And we have to learn that. What their bar of perfection is going to be different to everyone else's. And we use the word perfect incorrectly. Sometimes when we say I've had the perfect day, what we mean is I've had an amazing day. But what others see into it, oh, that's perfect. That's what it needs to look like. Why do we do that? Why do we make assumptions? Why do we set the bar so high for ourselves? We're making it more difficult. We're adding more stress, more overwhelm into a situation that really has enough of its own, okay? Running a business can at times feel a little bit stressful, can feel a little bit overwhelming. And what we should be doing as business owners is trying to find ways to reduce that, not add in more because we're setting these unrealistic expectations of ourselves and the perfect day, the perfect week, the perfect business. Having that ability to be okay with not being perfect is so important, not just for our own well-being, but actually for the effectiveness of our business. Recognizing that you don't have to be everything to everybody all of the time. These are game changers. Understanding that productivity is not about perfection or nothing, that there's loads of shades of grey in between, is a game changer. It means that you will actually be more productive. You will actually be more effective. The minute you strive for the unattainable, you make it difficult to attain anything else. We have to learn to accept that nobody is perfect. No business is perfect. No situation is perfect. It's the best version of whatever it can be. So I, as a business owner, when I'm planning out my week, when I'm analyzing my day, I'm not analyzing it to a standard that is unattainable. What I'm saying to myself is, was I the best version of myself that I could be for that day? Some days that best version of me is better. Some days that best version of me may be slightly worse, but it's the best version of me in that moment. That's what I'm striving for. That's enough. That allows me to be the amazing business owner I want to be. It allows you to recognize how amazing you are when you stop setting the bar too high. So be more Mary Poppins. Be happy with being practically perfect rather than perfect. Be happy with being the best version of you at that time. That is all we can do. Stop setting the bar too high. Stop creating unnecessary stress or overwhelm. You are never going to have the perfect, productive day. But what you will have is a productive day that generated the best version of you. That's what we need to focus in on. As I mentioned at the beginning, this has come up a lot lately, particularly since I've launched the Done List, which is my productivity, consistency, and accountability group. Because generally people are very down on their own productivity and effectiveness. And don't get me wrong, there's probably definitely things that they could do that would help them be more productive and effective in their business. And that's what we focus on in that group. But sometimes it's about their expectation of what the perfect day looks like. It's about their expectation of what productivity actually means. I did a video a while ago on productivity dysmorphia. So scroll back and check that out, because that was all about our constant need for being perfect, for wanting more and more productivity was actually stopping us being productive. It was also sucking out the joy of the things that we're actually achieving when we're focusing in on the stuff that we didn't do rather than the stuff that we did. The question around productivity and effectiveness is more around how we're using our time, not putting more time in. It's also about how we prioritize our tasks and recognize what is actually important and what isn't. So there's a lot of things that go into the mix for being more productive in your business. But I can tell you one thing that's not in that mix, and it's striving for perfection. That's not what we're aiming to do. What we're saying is there are ways in which I can help myself be the best version of me at that moment in time and create the best version that I can. Not, I need to strive for perfection. So I wanted to come on and talk about it because it crops up a lot. When people are sort of down on themselves and their own productivity and effectiveness and situations. But striving for perfection just puts blinkers on. It stops us seeing all of the other great stuff that is happening. It stops us being able to cope with the things that come our way. We lose that ability to adapt. And we know that being a business owner, one of the key strengths that we have is that ability to adapt and change. I mean, boy, we've demonstrated that over the last couple of years, right? Flexibility, that goes out of the window when you're striving for perfection, because perfection is very black and white. It says it has to happen this way or it's not working. What we have to recognize as a business owner is that it can happen in lots of different ways, and that's okay. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. I'd be interested in your thoughts on it as well, in terms of, how do you see perfection? Are you striving for it when maybe you shouldn't be? Are you hard on yourself because you're not ticking the perfect amount of boxes per day? Or you're not appearing to be as productive or as successful as all those other people that you're seeing? You're measuring yourself against the wrong things. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on it. And check out the video on productivity dysmorphia as well, because it's a really interesting subject about how our perception of what we need to achieve can actually impact our ability to achieve it. So yeah, food for thought. So my leaving thought with you is, stop striving for perfection. Be more Mary Poppins. If she's okay with being practically perfect, then you can be too. Just aim to be the best version of yourself on that day, whatever that looks like. So share your thoughts with me, and I'd love to hear them. And have a fantastic weekend, whatever it is that you're up to, whether you're working, whether you're spending time with family, whether you're hunkering down because of the rain and the wind, whatever it might be. But have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all very soon. So be more Mary Poppins.